The Adass Israel School sex abuse scandal is a criminal case and extradition dispute regarding allegations of child sex abuse at a Jewish religious school in Melbourne, Australia. Victoria Police have laid 74 charges against a former principal, Malka Leifer, concerning conduct from 2003 to 2008. At least 8 victims have come forward, and an investigation is ongoing. Leifer, a dual Israeli-Australian citizen, fled under suspicious circumstances shortly before a warrant could be issued, and she had remained in Israel and the West Bank from 2008 until January 2021 under varying levels of police and court supervision, pending the resolution of her extradition case. Allegations of further victims in the West Bank were made in June 2018. The degree of freedom she has enjoyed in Israel has prompted worldwide media coverage and criticism of Israel's justice system. Activist Manny Wax described the case as a farce and an embarrassment. Leifer lived an apparently normal life for some time in the Israeli settlement of Emmanuel. Despite a court ruling that she was mentally unfit for proceedings, she was eventually rearrested after media and police scrutiny of her behavior, but has continued to await extradition, with more than 70 court hearings and appeals requested by her legal team, and with delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In January 2021, after more than a decade as a fugitive, Leifer was extradited to Australia. In 2015, the Supreme Court of Victoria awarded over $1 million Australian dollars against the school, and also $150,000 exemplary damages personally against Leifer. Australian police confirmed there is an ongoing investigation into the actions of some members of the Adass Israel community in helping her leave Australia. Israeli police have likewise opened an investigation into officials, including former Minister of Health Yaakov Litzman, who may have interfered with Leifer's case. The Adass Israel community is a Hasidic Jewish group in Melbourne that traces its origins to a split in the Elwood Shire in the early 1940s. Some of its early members were boys and men who had been sent to Australia by the British on the infamous Dune era in 1941. The community's synagogue is in Riponley, and its school and Shevra Kadisha are located in nearby Elsternach. The community is ultra-Orthodox. Children are raised without television, internet, radio, but have access to Jewish newspapers or magazines that cover worldly matters. After the age of 8, boys and girls are kept entirely separate outside family homes, and the stories they are told never involve friendships between boys and girls. There is no sex education in schools, but before marriage the bride and groom attend educational classes to discuss sex and other topics about marriage. The rabbi of the community acts as the ultimate authority for members. In 2007, a woman in Israel, Dessi Erlish, sought counseling when she started to have recurrent nightmares and anxiety about events that had taken place at Adass Israel School when she was in high school. These incidents allegedly happened at the hands of Leifer, the principal of the school. After an arranged marriage in 2006, Erlish had moved to Israel with her husband. In February 2008, Erlich's therapist in Israel contacted a psychologist in Melbourne, who, in turn, contacted a senior teacher she knew at the school. The information passed on is that there were substantial allegations of inappropriate conduct by Leifer. The teacher phoned Erlish, and was convinced of the claims that there had been clearly sexualized behavior by Leifer and that important boundaries had been crossed. The teacher then confronted Leifer, who denied that there was any problem and subsequently reported the matter to 2 senior rabbis and with other rabbis, a barrister and a psychologist. There was a meeting arranged with the president and some members of the school board. Leifer was telephoned at the meeting and denied the allegations, saying, "You have destroyed my reputation. I'm not going to stand for this." The evening that the allegations came to light, in March 2008, the wife of a school board member rang a travel agent to say a flight to Israel was needed urgently. The school arranged, paid and booked tickets for Leifer and 4 of her 8 children on an aircraft that departed at 1:20 a.m. the same night, without having informed the police. The police later investigated the school. Leifer's husband, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Leifer, also fled to Israel with her, where he now heads the small Chust Hasidic community in Emmanuel, where he and his wife have been living since 2016. In June 2018, Emmanuel was cited as a haven for pedophiles by the Sydney Morning Herald, which exposed further alleged child sexual abuse there by Leifer, committed without consequence. Following investigations by the police, a warrant was issued for 74 child sex offences concerning at least 8 pupils, and an extradition request was placed with Israel.